Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a little journey into r/best of Redditor updates, and then probably something else on the end of whatever stories I've saved and hadn't got around to, because I don't think that this one will be long enough on its own. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. And yes, make sure you do subscribe because I'm trying to get to 1,000 before my birthday in March. So help me out with that, please. Thank you. Okay, so this one was shared to the subreddit by Lucy Aria Rose, and the title is Am I Overreacting for Taking a Break from My Boyfriend After He Ripped Through a Whole Turkey at Our Family Thanksgiving? Okay. So of course, Lucy Aria Rose is not the original poster. The original poster was ashamed_butterfly373. So we have trigger warnings for infidelity, leaving someone stranded in the middle of the night in an unfamiliar place, possible eating disorder, and overeating. Mood spoiler is, dude, what the fuck? Sad, but also ultimately good for the OOP. Okay, so we might have a light at the end of the tunnel here. And it was originally posted December 9th, 2025. My boyfriend, 28M, and I, 27F, have been dating for almost 2 years and living together for 6 months now. I met him through my friend at a house party and we immediately hit it off. He was almost exactly like a guy I wanted. Extremely tall and huge, witty with jokes, kind and well dressed. And he was absolutely buffed. We vibed throughout the party and exchanged numbers at the end. He has met my family a couple of times after we moved in together and they absolutely loved him. My grandparents host Thanksgiving dinner almost every year and we were both invited to it. I thought it would have been lovely to make him meet with them and my other family members too, since my uncle's family would be there too. He had to drop his sister off at his parents' house, 2-hour drive, and pick me up from our house. It was a 1.5 drive to my grandparents' house. Everyone was happy to meet him, and it seemed like they really liked him until we sat down for dinner. We said our graces, and Grandpa carved the turkey, started to pass it around the table. It was a regular sized turkey like we have for every Thanksgiving, enough to feed 12 and still have leftovers. We were 10. Both of us were sitting at the end of the table next to Grandpa, so my boyfriend was the last one to get it. There was still a lot of it left because everyone took only a little and would pass it around again for more after some time. He placed it right next to him and started digging through the entirety of it. He was so profuse, as my nephew said later, gobbling it up. I told him quietly to go easy, but he did not listen. Okay, so he was not taught table manners then, I suppose. He started saying how good it was, and my grandma had a huge smile on her face. He was eating just the turkey, and my grandma said, "Boy, someone really likes turkey." Everyone laughed, but it got to a point where everyone was talking about it. He did not take any hint and shrugged it off like a teenager. My face turned red from embarrassed, and I could see everyone judging us so hard. I could hear my uncle and his wife making unfunny jokes about it. It was finished without getting to anyone again with no leftovers. That's so rude. Oh my goodness. You don't go to someone else's house and eat down like nearly an entire half a flipping turkey. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. My boyfriend is a gym freak. He spends a ridiculous amount of time and money on working out, eating protein-rich meals, online courses, etc. He has a set protein limit that he hits every day, sometimes over it, but never under. He also gets his protein from just the meals, no supplements, so he is used to having large meals. It's never been a problem with me, and I respect his way of living, if not love it. We cook together all the time, and if I'm not in the mood, he happily makes me a meal for me. He won't even let me contribute in grocery expenses. Because of him, I started eating healthy and felt a lot better about my lifestyle. I mean, that's all good and well, but when someone is that rigid that they can't change their eating behaviours for one meal, literally one meal, with someone else's family, Unless you have an actual dietary restriction because you have an allergy or an intolerance or whatever, or you have to meet a certain limit for something because otherwise you would be really unwell, having no flexibility when it comes to like food and the way you like to eat and your lifestyle, I think that's just as toxic as the people that have no healthy living in their lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? You have to have balance. What is the point in going through life constantly panicking about keeping up your protein levels because you need to have the perfect physique? I couldn't think of a more miserable existence, to be honest, than having that kind of insecurity ruling over my life day in, day out. Because I think when you are that rigid with it, it is insecurity that drives it, isn't it? Because if you weren't insecure, you'd be like, one day's not going to hurt. Who cares? It is an actual, like the warnings did say, it is an actual ED, I would say. After the dinner, when we got into a fight while driving home, he said that he had been driving all day and didn't eat anything after breakfast, so he had to hit his protein, and that he wasn't enjoying it after some time and had to just shove it down his throat. Yeah, but it's so rude for one day to not be completely rude and make that dinner all about you and literally just taking all of the food for yourself. You could have not done it for one day and not hit your protein goal. I said that if he was that hungry, I would have happily made him a meal after he'd gotten home. But now everyone in my family is going to talk about how you finished something made for the whole family. He had thought everyone took their share. What? He got really mad and said that I'm blowing this out of proportion and overreacting over a simple meal. I snapped saying, how am I overreacting if I am just trying to communicate about what he did? It was an hour-long drive, so things got heated up. He kept saying I'm calling him a pig for eating like that and should probably get out of his life if it's such a problem, because he believes he did nothing wrong and he isn't going to change himself. You did, though. You were so rude. Like, Opie's boyfriend, you were so rude, eating all that food that was meant for everyone. He persisted on it, even though that wasn't my point. It's extremely selfish to say I have to hit my protein goals because of my muscles, so I'm going to eat all the food that was meant for everyone. So I'm going to eat all the meat that was meant for everyone and let everyone else just take measly portions. It got so bad that he dropped me at a gas station in the middle of the night and said, think about what I just did. I was terrified. I collected myself to call an Uber to my sister's house and sobbed the entire night. I told myself after a few weeks things would get clear. He hasn't texted me, nor did I. I can see how I could have reacted differently, but I can't get myself out over the fact that he just left me stranded in the middle of the night. Am I overreacting, or should I make a move on making things straight? No, you are not overreacting. Oh my god. So you called him out on his rude, entitled behaviour, and he threw a little paddy and left you in the middle of fucking nowhere at a gas station in the middle of the night where anything could have happened. Oh my god, I don't think this OP is overreacting enough. Like, he literally threw a little toddler tantrum and kicked her out in the car. Like, he clearly doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself. One, by the fact that he ate all that turkey and didn't think about what anyone else might want. Two, about the fact that he kicked her out the car because he was being called out on his weird and rude behaviour, and he left her in the middle of friggin' nowhere at a gas station in the middle of the night. That's so dangerous. Yeah, someone like this is so self-involved, and I would not want to be in any part of their sphere, to be fair.
Okay, so I think now would be a good time to just chime in whilst editing and just say that yes, I 100% can see that there could be the potential that there is some form of ED going on here, and I do think there is some disordered habits for sure. However, obviously that still doesn't excuse the rudeness, it doesn't excuse the toddler tantrum, and it doesn't excuse the other things. But yeah, the dude needs help for sure, because the restrictive patterns of the eating is not good at all. So yeah, I just wanted to chime in and say that yes, I do completely understand that there is something like that more than likely going on here to some degree, but it doesn't excuse being an asshole.
So, one of OOP's comments, TopBit85 said, "You made him feel like a greedy pig because that's how he behaved. You all tried to tell him gently to stop. I guess you should have been more direct. Kick him to the curb, especially since he dropped you at a gas station in the middle of the night. Do you think he might be using steroids to get that angry?" And then OOP says, "I agree. I should have been more direct, but my thinking at the time was not to escalate it more and be discreet about it. I am not 100% on the steroid use. I ask him about how his workout was and sometimes give him a massage if he's really sore, but that's about it. But lately, he is getting passive aggressive. I just shrugged it off, thinking it was one of those long days." Top comments. Draw Next 5604 says, "Girl, he left you stranded. Let's use our brain here. No matter how upset someone gets, you don't just dump them somewhere. Get out." And then Normal Grand 4702 says, "And in the middle of the night." And then Kath Elizabeth says, "Someone who doesn't take the whole family or all the meals that will be made with the turkey leftovers into account is a selfish dud." Yes, exactly. Someone who force feeds himself half a turkey so he can hit his macros or whatever, even though he no longer wanted to, and it was making him feel sick, likely has an ED. Someone who isn't going to change himself is a bad partner. Someone who dumps you at a gas station in the middle of the night on Thanksgiving is abusive. You are totally in the right and should stay far away from him, even if he apologizes. So many red flags here. Glad you're safe from this dude. And then Maleficent Vision 726 says, "Reading this reminded me of the 6-foot sub guy on Am I the Butthole a while back." What? I need to read that at some point. Totally 1000% selfish. A lot of people rely on leftovers from Thanksgiving in the week after. Editor's note, I got you. Link. Okay, I'm going to go back to that. I'm definitely going back to that. Not today, but at some point. Update. Same post, December 11th, 2025, 2 days later. Thank you everyone for all the comments. I did not expect to get this many reactions. It really helped me to hear other perspectives and seeing how naive I was. Here is an update of what happened after I posted this. I called him to talk about what had happened. The call was answered by a woman whose voice I didn't recognise. Yes, it wasn't his sister. I know her voice very well. When I asked if I could talk to him, she replied, "He's in a cardio session. I'll tell him to call you later." I was puzzled after this, so I waited for his call, imagining all the worst things, and it turned out to be right. He was cheating on me. He told me that he'd been seeing her for a couple of months. He works as a coach in the gym that he goes to. I searched her up on Instagram, and she is a fitness influencer with a lot of followers. A lot. Drop the name, girly pop. He said she is a better match for him and will help him grow his career on social media. Ah, he's one of those. Eee. I know that sounds almost hypocritical, me saying that, considering I am on YouTube. But you know what I mean. Like the type of gym bro who wants to be an influencer and obviously doesn't care about shit on people to get there. There is a scary amount of them, and they are gross. Yes, he has a fitness channel too, but with nowhere near the amount of followers she has. She had a much better body than me. When asked why he didn't tell me earlier and ended things right there, he said he knew I would overreact and act emotionally immature, like I am doing right now, and wouldn't understand him. What? Understand you cheating? Are you on crack, my love? He has packed my things in boxes and kept them in the garage and told me to collect it or not, he doesn't care, and ended the call. I started sobbing uncontrolled. My sister was beside me and comforted me. She said his fitness influencer girlfriend might not even know that we had been dating, and he is running after her followers and not her. Precisely. I do think he literally only wants this woman because of her followers. Definitely. I started saying that he couldn't do that, and she replied that I'm in denial and he probably saw the opportunity on the Thanksgiving argument and got rid of me, making me think that I was the one that caused the end of the relationship. I'm taking my sister and her boyfriend to collect my things this week and probably get a closure. Like, yeah, this dude clearly is the most emotionally immature person ever. No one's ever taught him how to behave. OP is way better off without him. And honestly, let him crack on, let him ruin his own life, because people like this, there will come a time where karma will bite them so magnificently in the butthole. So just leave him to it. He's going to be miserable chasing his macros forever and a day, being so obsessed over it, stressing about it, being insecure. And I genuinely think that is what a lot of it is. He's insecure. Absolutely. And then this flipping influencer woman, if she didn't know about the OP already, is going to discover what this guy's really like and the fact that he's literally using her for a following, and all will come crashing down eventually. So yeah, just leave him to it. So, down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, IC Priority 8075 says, Option 1, break up with girlfriend. Option 2, force feed yourself half a turkey to intentionally cause an argument, triggering girlfriend to break up with you. Clear winner. And then that guy Malcolm says, don't forget 3, gaslight OOP that she is immature. Literally, like the guy who was too afraid to just end a relationship that he didn't feel was working for him anymore is calling her immature. Sure. Okay, so I think we've got a little bit of time for another post. I'm going to choose an Am I the Devil that I've had floating around in my saved ones for a little bit of time now. So this one was reshared into the subreddit by Grows on Walls, and they say, holy walking red flag. Oh, goody. So it was originally posted to r/am I the butthole relationships. Am I the butthole for dumping my girlfriend after checking her phone? I, 23M, found something about my girlfriend, 21F, that I can't ignore, and I'm tired of being treated like the unreasonable one. We used to be co-workers and got around to gaming off shift, which turned to like flirting, and eventually I came over. I had broken up with my cheating ex weeks before, who I'd roughly been detached from for a good 6 months prior. She got with my homeboy 3 days after she actually ended it with me and had been cheating on me for God knows how long. So, I was happy that I, 1, didn't have to be in the apartment with her constantly. Yes, unfortunately, we still lived together until Christmas. 2, I could finally start healing and make a life with this girl in front of me that I've actually wanted for months, but could never say anything. It's funny because we used to not get along. She talked about Elden Ring and Lord of the Rings, and the way she giggled, I couldn't get it out of my head when I clocked out. And damn it, she's so pretty. I know everyone thinks their girlfriend is, but my girlfriend? Anyway, she didn't like me very much and she pulled me into the office with our boss and kind of forced us to get along because I admit I wasn't nice to her either when we met. She softened and made statements about how she'd watch anything with old school Jack Black in it, so I was joking and told her to check out Tenacious D. I didn't think she would. She bounces into work the next day and can't wait to talk to me. Few days of cordiality and she's all over me, and I don't mind it one bit. It was great at first. I've got this gorgeous girl who's clingy as I am, and we're both ND, so she really does get me. Oh, neurodivergent, took me a minute to figure out what ND was. Listen, it is 20 past 12 at night, so give me a break. My brain was not working. Some important context is that our supervisor is kind of a creep and flirts with every girl on shift. None of them are actually into it, but my girlfriend is too polite for her own sake and laughs at his horrific jokes and proceeds to fake gag at me behind his back. But he saw her laughing as flirting. Bad enough, he was always around her, and our bitch-ass co-workers decided to start a rumour that they were dating. Even though she spent every night and every other waking moment at that point with me, and you know we were attached at the hip, but whatever. The rumours got bad enough that our main boss got involved, but she's genuine shit and ran with it, so my girlfriend left our job. But the day she left, I came over and saw that our supervisor's number was still in her phone. I brought it up and she apologised and said that it slipped her mind and then blocked and deleted him in front of me. Yeah, literally. It was the day she'd left her work. Wait, let me just double check that. But the day she left, I came over. Yeah, the day she left and she hadn't deleted the boss's number yet, or the supervisor's number. And so it'd probably take me a good 2 weeks to remember that that number was still in there, to be honest with you. I didn't feel right still, so I kept insisting something more was going on. I wanted to admit it over the weeks, but she wouldn't, so I demanded to check her phone, which she did and told me her password was my birthday. While checking her phone, I found nothing of consequence for an hour. Then I looked through her recently deleted where she did a mass clear out recently, mostly duplicate old memes. Then I found a screenshot of a Fansly profile she made from the previous year before her and I got together. Is that like an only flans kind of thing, is it? I can only imagine that that's probably what it is because it sounds very the same. She keeps insisting that she never posted anything, never made money, but to me, creating the account is enough. The willingness was there. She tries to argue that it has no relevance to our relationship and that it was during a dark time when her hours were cut massive and no one was hiring. It's true our boss is a twat who barely had her in at 20 hours during the slow season, and I was still full-time, but I'm not interested in dating someone who has even entertained that lifestyle. She thinks my standards are harsh, but I think they're basic respect. I mean, you're about to talk yourself out of what sounds like the best relationship you've had in a good while, but you do you, mate, all because she created a flipping account and never even used it before you two were even a thing. Grow up. Then she claimed that she also didn't do it because she knows she's better than that and was just desperate at the time. She claims she made it during the late night and didn't even send ID verification. If she's so much better, why make an account? She just told you because she was desperate for money at the time. People do a lot of stuff when they're desperate for money and they feel backed into a corner. Anyway, after I found the account, I still felt wrong, and a few weeks later I tried to catch her off guard and went through her phone while she was sleeping as I was spending the night. I found nothing, but I still didn't trust her, so I dumped her. The best thing you could do for her, honestly, pal. Mate, chill the fuck out. She was devastated, tried to send me her logins. She begged me to reconsider and swore she'd do whatever she could to earn my trust back because she loves me. Loves me so much she was just never going to tell me about the account. Yeah, because she never posted anything on it, mate. She made it and then she didn't use it. So, what's the problem? She probably didn't even think about it, to be quite fair. She probably forgot all about it. Like, transparency can erase what she's capable of. If she was truly trustworthy, I wouldn't have needed proof. Yeah, you sound like an absolute paranoid, insecure person who should not be in a relationship. And honestly, binning her off is probably the best thing you could do for her.
And listen, editing me here again just to say I understand having a certain level of paranoia after a relationship that obviously where you've been cheated on or whatever, and that it can affect ongoing relationships after that. However, that is the responsibility of the person who is paranoid, because obviously that is not a normal way to feel about just everyone for no reason. Far as I can see, OP's girlfriend has never given them a reason to mistrust them, or ex-girlfriend, should I say. And these reactions are overreactions. And essentially, what the person has done here is talked himself out of a decent relationship and gone and ruined a decent relationship all for the sake of paranoia. It's like complete self-sabotage. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I understand that it can affect you in relationships going forward. But the responsibility then is on the OP to not get in a relationship until they've figured out that insecurity and got past it.
We never had some long emotional sit down after the first time I felt wrong because honestly, I didn't see the point. If you violate someone's trust from the start, you don't get to negotiate your way back into good standing. They didn't, but okay. I would bring up the Fansly account every time she wants reassurance or closeness. She calls it unfair. It is, but consequences don't have an expiration date just because the behaviour was before me. It absolutely does, because that was nothing to do with you, to be honest. And it wasn't a behaviour. She made an account late at night when she was feeling insecure about money and never acted on it. Grow up. There's probably millions of women who have done the exact same over the world because quite often women are kind of backed into a corner when it comes to like money and things like that. You know, they are backed into feeling like maybe that is their only option.
And by the way, I totally understand that if somebody is against that sort of thing and they don't want to date someone who has, been involved in that sort of thing or has, even thought about that sort of thing before, that's fine. Everyone has their own beliefs on it, whatever. What this person does not get to do and what anybody else does not get to do is look down on anybody who does that kind of work or has considered that kind of work. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to look down on someone for it. And the OP here is literally doing that. Like, they're talking about them as if they are now a piece of shit on their shoe, and that is not okay.
Her past still reflects the kind of person she is or could be. That's not something I'm obligated to forgive. Before I broke it off, I refused to hold her or kiss her or have sex. I didn't think she deserved it, but instead of just accepting the inevitability of her punishment, she keeps claiming I'm using emotional blackmail, which I'm certain is some buzzword she found on TikTok. She keeps texting me begging me to try to understand and see how serious she was about me, talking about how she wants a whole life with me, but also managed to keep evidence of being an online in her phone. Oh, grow up. Grow up. Even if it was from the last year and she forgot about it, I really don't care. Yikes on several bikes, honestly. I am so glad for his ex-girlfriend that he dumped her. She might feel bad about it now, but it's so for the best for the future. Because if he's being so incredibly over the top about an account that was created and never used before he even met her, I can just imagine the controlling behaviour and the paranoid behaviour that he is going to display further on down the line if they were to stay together. So yeah, I'm very glad that she doesn't have to put up with him anymore. So, down in the comments, 00 Tears says, I hate reading Reddit posts with unnecessary information. Like, this could have been a paragraph. Why do we need to know that the girlfriend likes to watch Jack Black movies? Honestly, I think sometimes posters do this when they know really that they are being weird. And they kind of try and fluff out posts to try and almost dampen down the parts then where they become weird and unhinged. I feel they do it kind of on purpose, whether it's subconsciously on purpose or consciously on purpose. I do think it's a bit of a tactic to try and kind of like bamboozle us with information so that we don't notice. Okay, so that's all we've got time for today. I'd love to know your opinions on these stories. What weird stories. I say this quite often to myself, to be fair. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end with me, I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Don't forget to leave a comment for the algorithm gods as well. That is very important. We must appease them. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.